Hernando Venanzi, an established painter from the Italian region of Umbria, was educated at the art school, Liceo Artistico Bernardino di Betto, and the Vannucci Academy of Arts in Perugia, in Italy. He has had an intensive artistic life, having become a member of the artistic world at a very young age, and already boasting 450 personal exhibitions that have been staged at important Italian and foreign art galleries. His first exhibition dates back to 1966 at the Pro Foligno Gallery in his native town, when he was only 18 years old and still studying at the Academy. Art critics immediately began to follow the artistic evolution of Venanzi, dedicating significant space in art publications, bulletins, news briefs, newspapers and reviews, which enlightened his exceptional talent. His works are in the most important European editions today. The artist took an active part early on in the national and international artistic and cultural scene, participating in awards, ceremonies, contests and conferences. He gained immense approval, vast recognition, and won many awards. He also dedicated himself with great success to the fresco technique. As early as 1968, he was commissioned to realize frescoes of sacred subjects in the churches of Nocera, Umbria, and Sassovivo near Perugia. The following year, he taught art in the Casa del Ragazzo Institute in Foligno, and went on to study the Impressionists in Tuscany in 1971. He also developed an interest in social issues such as drug abuse, abortion, and Italian immigration at the time. In 1974, the artist traveled out of the country to broaden his horizons and exhibited in Zurich and Paris. He then returned to Umbria the following year and finally settled in Tuscany at the end of 1975, although he continued his travels and exhibited in the major Italian cities. During 1976 in Rome, he became interested also in ceramics and sculpture. 2 years later, he displayed his great canvases based on the Divine Comedy and an imagery voyage in Dante's Inferno in Perugia, Palazzo dei Priori. The exhibition, due to its cultural relevance to education, was then presented in the major Italian cities. In the summer of 1978, Venanzi was based in Versilia, Tuscany, while planning travels to Zurich, Brussels, Paris, and London. At the end of the year, he painted the frescoes of the Chiesa in Marina, church in Massa. In 1979, he embraced the theme of St. Francis of Assisi. This led to the art critic Cristoforo affirming that the artist was the founder of Iridismo, which is the study of the relationship between the image and color, successfully meeting the modern picturesque idea of evoluzionismo. This is the study of the connection between a painting and the evolution of time in order to better express oneself. Consecrating the concept that undertaking these new studies, he applies them to the representation of St. Francis' history. His knowledge and skill will never cease to surprise, as he is a pure artist who likes to meet challenges in a new way in order to tease his fervent fantasies and charge his emotions with new passions. In his depiction of the story of St. Francis, Venanzi reached the height of his skill. He does not lose himself in the representation of the facts, and therefore in the interpretation of the figure. Instead, he is able to gather the sentiments that seep from the canvas like an unstoppable force that creates a field of sentimental magnetism which surrounds his work. The representation of the sentiment and therefore the ethereal takes the stage, the intangibles and not the objects. I am tempted to assert, therefore, that Venanzi, in this pictorial representation, touches the superhuman, reaching a new expressive form, the eterismo. After Iridismo and Evoluzionismo, with eterismo, the artist is able to study and resolve the relationship between the figure and the sentiment that it conveys, between the tangible and the intangible.